Welcome to the Bring Your A-Game quiz show, presented by Canada's Top Mayor Award. I'm Adam Groh. You might recognize me as the Cash Cab guy, and I'm thrilled to be hosting this competition between a handful of Canadian mayors from awesome communities across the country. You'll play along as I test their knowledge on general pop culture trivia questions inspired by their cities or towns, or the personal stories they shared with me, and we'll put the spotlight on some initiatives that are enriching the lives of Canadians. This episode of the Bring Your A-Game quiz show is sponsored by LifeSquad.com. When you want head lice gone, visit LifeSquad.com. And together, we're raising money for Food Banks Canada, a national charitable organization dedicated to helping Canadians living with food insecurity. All of the communities that are featured on this show are on the lands of the original peoples, the Ungwe-Honwe of Turtle Island. And much like the First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people long before us, who came together with community leaders to learn from them and inspire others, I acknowledge and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do the very same thing on these very same lands. All right, so it's time to meet our mayors in this episode of Bring Your A-Game, the quiz show. And here we go, St. John's, Newfoundland. St. John's, Newfoundland is the oldest city in North America, the capital of the province, home of the first transatlantic wireless communication, as well as colorful row houses and personalities. Serving as mayor since 2017, His Worship, Danny Breen.
Ready to roll, trivia cap on.
Mississauga, Ontario is Canada's sixth largest city, a destination for multicultural festivals, and with huge plans for cutting-edge sustainable waterfront communities, still has a working lighthouse on the shore of Lake Ontario. Serving as mayor since 2014, Her Worship, Bonnie Crombie.
Hi, Adam. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Not to be mistaken with the pork-redded White House, which is a completely different political story, and not for this episode.
Right.
Drumheller, Alberta is in the heart of Canada's Badlands on the picturesque Red Deer River. Driving distance to Banff and Calgary, and there's a T-Rex on the logo for the town's Chamber of Commerce. Serving as mayor and the first female mayor of Drumheller, Her Worship, Heather Colberge.
Yes, we are the dinosaur capital of the world as well, and we have the world's largest dinosaur. So I just love our community. We're just very blessed with everything we have here, and we're the third largest tourist destination in Alberta.
And Bracebridge, Ontario is the heart of Muskoka, a center for tourism in the south central part of the province. It was built around a waterfall and has been known as Santa's summer home for 60 years. Serving as mayor since 2010, His Worship, Graydon Smith.
I had to be authentic today. So if we're going to talk cottage country, I thought I better be at the cottage. Pretty cold right now, though.
So there they are, all four of the mayors on this episode of the Bring Your A-Game quiz show, ready to compete. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, they seem enthusiastic and ready to go. No, is that okay, mayors?
Yes.
Yes.
So the first piece of information is related to that last little tidbit of factoid about Bracebridge, Ontario. Santa's summer home because of what particular theme park?
Santa's Village. Over 60 years, lots has changed, but Santa's that one constant.
Well, this first question inspired by that factoid on the TV show Seinfeld. Frank Costanza invented what alternate holiday to Christmas, mayors?
It was a Festivus for the rest of us.
Festivus for the rest of us. Yes.
Well done.
Good job.
Mayor Crombie was like, I think I know it, but I need some help on this one. Was it Honimus, Christmapalooza, Festivus, or yada yada yadamus? Festivus, good job. So Santa's Village, the construction was inspired by the town's location, specifically where? Do you know this part, Mayor Smith?
It is on the 45th parallel, halfway between the equator and the North Pole.
Latitudinally speaking, Canadians are often surprised to hear that the tip of southwestern Ontario is lower than parts of California. When you think about, or we live in the north, we're not, south of any parts in the States. Almost half of the population of Canada lives south of Monaco. And Canadians are also surprised that Seattle, Washington sits roughly at the same latitude as which Canadian city represented on this panel of mayors, just as a way of transition. Anybody know? It's St. John's.
Oh,
St.
Actually
John's,
thought it might
Newfoundland.
be.
Seattle, Washington. Now, St.
Wow.
John's, Newfoundland, as you've said, Mayor Breen, known for its vibrant nightlife, arts, culture, and music. And you've referenced some specific recording artists.
oh well, the Alan Doyle, who you would know from Solo, plus his Great Big Sea, which was his previous act, and also the great Ron Hines, the man of 1,000 songs.
The Newfoundland rock band Great Big Sea had that kitchen party vibe. They're best known for rock versions of traditional Newfoundland music drawn from the island's centuries-old Irish and Scottish heritage. So I wanted to get to this question because there's a lot of pop culture references here that are inspired by the locals in the community. So songs by Great Big Sea appeared in the 2001 Hollywood feature film The Shipping News, which starred Kevin Spacey, but originally the lead male role in that movie was going to be played by what actor known for dancing?
Patrick Swayze?
Oh, that's a good one. The late Patrick Swayze.
John Travolta?
John Travolta.
Yeah.
John Travolta.
John Travolta.
If you can all show me the type of dance that this actor is best known for, that might change your answer.
Oh.
Like Staying Alive.
Oh, is it-
Staying
it might be
Alive.
Travolta.
Yeah.
It was John Travolta.
Yeah, save the day on that hint right there, Mayors. I just want to make sure because
I just want to point out the local knowledge was outvoted 3-1 here, but I had John Travolta the whole time.
Okay, so the mayor of the Rock was outnumbered on that, but it still saved the day for the group on the Bring Your A Game quiz show. Using the
Thank you.
Rock as a transition to this next factoid, Mayor Crombie of Mississauga is apparently an avid rock climber. Is this the truth?
It is.
So you're an avid rock climber, but you don't live on the rock or necessarily in a part of Canada that's known for rock climbing. So where in Ontario is your favorite place? Whether it be
Yeah,
indoors
no,
or
so
outdoors?
we do the gyms, but out in Milton on the Niagara Escarpment and the Bruce Trail, there's lots of rock climbing. So certainly at the Rattlesnake Point in that area.
So at about 900 meters high, Yosemite Valley in California is home to the highest free solo climbing wall face, which inspired what computer-related name?
Um,
Is it El Dorado,
Could
El
be.
Chapo, El Indigeneris, or El Capitan?
Oh,
I think it's El Capitan.
El Capitan.
El Capitan.
You definitely needed the multiple choice on that.
The crazy thing is, I've used the Mac for I don't know how long, and I'm on Apple products right now, and I could not remember that.
Have you ever been free solo?
Oh God, no, that would be insane.
Maybe in the indoor rock.
I'm
climbing,
on
right?
fireman's belay the whole way on ropes and stuff. No way.
Now, El Capitan is an operating system. It's computer related. Also computer related is something that Mayor Colberge, you started with your daughter. Tell us about the website you run.
yes, we actually run it's called HCM Lifestyle. It's for Heather Colberge Madison's my daughter. And we just ended up doing that for kind of share positive, like share stories, inspiring stories. It's just a free website. We do blogs and it just kind of started when we were trying to inspire positive and kind of share stories with people that are around the world that have been through different things and just to help others.
Yeah, I love that you're making time to inspire people amongst the other things that you're doing. Some of the lifestyle websites do a lot more. They've got products, they've got links to courses. One of them I'm thinking of is Goop, which is run by whom?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Famous for roles in Shakespeare in Love and on the TV show Glee, and as Pepper Potts in the Iron Man movies. Gwyneth Paltrow's first starring role was in the 1996 film adaptation of what Jane Austen novel?
Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, maybe we should leave it to Mayors Breen and Smith to do this one to see how many Jane Austen novels they've read over the years.
How long is the show?
Mayor Breen, name one Jane Austen novel.
Pride and Prejudice.
Was it Emma,
Yes.
Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility,
Oh, there's that
or
one.
50 Shades of Grey?
No, it was Emma.
Emma.
We're going to give that to Mayor Breen for sure on that one for being.
Mayor Breen for the win.
Yay!
So Jane Austen's Emma set in Highbury, England, and we're going to stay in that region of the world to talk to Mayor Breen about one of the places in the world that you love to visit. I don't know how many times you've been there, but Ireland.
Ireland is a very near and dear place to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. The connection between Newfoundland and Ireland goes back to the people who came over and settled in Newfoundland. Music and Irish storytelling, and it's a big part. In fact, if you go a half hour outside St. John's, 40 minutes, and you talk to people from an area called Fairyland on the southern shore. If you close your eyes, you think you're talking to somebody in Ireland. It's amazing how the dialect and the accent is the same. So it's a very, and if you look at the landscape, is very similar.
Well, the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland is the longest coastal drive route in the world and includes the world famous Skellig Islands, which were popular with the makers of what sci-fi movie franchise? They're stumped on that one.
There's going to be steam coming out of my ears in a second.
I know.
Or smoke, rather, because you're
Does it
melting
start
my
with
brain.
an M?
How did you find that question?
Wow.
This is the first, like.
Better give us. Don't we
I
get
know, but I got it. Like, you didn't even have like a hint.
Why is the X coming down so many times? It's really making me feel bad. Like
I feel
like there's more.
Wait,
Like it's
don't
something
kill
that we
the
don't
bag.
know.
I need Jurassic
I
Park.
still have no idea.
We're guessing now.
Like Lord of the
Graydon, we're
Rings was
guessing.
in
Lord of the
New
Rings
Zealand,
sounds pretty interesting. If it was,
I'm going with you on this one.
I'm going Jurassic Park.
oh, geez, don't put that pressure on me.
Oh, he liked
not
being
bit-
outnumbered before, but now he's like.
Bobby seems pretty confident in
It'd be a
Jurassic
great place for
Park.
a Jane Austen movie.
Yeah, called Emma.
That is an authentic X on that one. I did give you the chance, but it, of course, was the Star Wars movies.
Oh, we didn't even try for that one.
In particular, The Last Jedi.
Who's even seen Star Wars movies? I mean,
Oh
they're
my God.
wildly unpopular. They've barely been seen.
Yeah, Mayor
45
Smith, name
years.
one Star Wars book. Right. You know, Pride and Prejudice. Longitudinally speaking, Cape Spear, going back to Newfoundland, Cape Spear near St. John's is the most easterly point in North America. And a great place to do what, Mayor Breen?
Oh, at Cape Spear is a great place to relax, to watch the waves, watch the ocean, and just an area where you're out on a point and you just feel the salt air and the wind.
Now, have other mayors been to St. John's and then also made it's about a 20-minute drive to Cape Spear, right?
Yeah, about 15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
I haven't
Not
been,
yet?
but everybody
Right.
that
That's
has been
fantastic.
tells me I have to go.
Make sure you come for 2 weeks and spend lots of money. That's the key.
Now, harder to spot than large icebergs, which you might see when you're at Cape Spear. Smaller chunks, less than 5 meters across, are known as what? And
Growlers.
Mayor Breen,
Growlers.
hang on. Just hang on. Give them a chance to.
We got
Okay.
got in trouble when we didn't
Growlers.
follow
The
Dan's
growlers.
first time.
We'll have me
Growlers.
reconsidering it. I had to get it out there right away.
Well,
Yeah.
wait a second. There's growlers is one, but let's just give them a chance, Mayor Breen. There's another nickname that they're also known by: growlers and ice cubes, growlers and ice blocks, growlers and ice babies, or growlers and Bergie bits.
I
Are
don't
we
know where
guessing
you
or
found the
anything?
names, but
Danny, over to you, buddy.
Yeah,
the only one that makes any sense is Bergie Bits, but I don't know. No Newfoundlander made that up.
So still staying on the east coast of Canada, but this question is inspired by Alberta's Mayor Colberge, who says one of her most favorite places in the world is where on the east coast?
Cabot Trail.
Oh,
What about it? It's obviously great for hiking and driving. Anything in particular for you?
Oh, I was just taken away by the color and honestly, I felt like I was just in a magical place. I was just taken, yeah, God's creation, I call it. It's a masterpiece.
So the Cabot Trail in the Cape Breton Highlands National Park in Nova Scotia, at the port of Sydney on Cape Breton Island, as an 18-meter tribute to the folk music and traditions of Nova Scotia's Celtic community, stands the world's largest what?
It's a fiddle.
So glad you're on this team, Danny.
Danny's the man. He has got
Danny's
this
the
all
man.
down.
Now, Mayor Colberge, did you get to Sydney while you were out there?
I did, and I should know. I don't recall seeing a fiddle.
It's a
Oh,
fiddle.
it must be a fiddle. Could be a harp.
I have to go
But
with
Danny,
The only
you
other
were-
one could have worked
Danny!
there was bagpipe.
Danny,
Danny,
you
you
are
shook my
awesome.
confidence in you for a second there because you started to second guess yourself.
Now, that was the world's largest fiddle. The world's largest dinosaur, of course, is it right in Drumheller?
Yep, right in.
You can
Right
climb
in the
up
valley.
and you
You
can
can
kind
climb in. There's a saying you can go up the ass of the world's largest dinosaur. Yeah.
and
Is that on your tourism ads?
tourism just pops.
But yeah, so you can go up the mouth of right up to the mouth and oversee the valley and look over the river, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah. So the one in front is the
Wow.
little dinosaur, and the one in the back is the large one. Drumheller has this history of dinosaurs because of the paleontology, and we have the world-renowned Royal Tyrrell Museum. And so we're known for dinosaurs, and we have little dinosaurs all over the town, and yeah, lots of fun.
So it's speculated that an adult T-Rex would have needed to eat the same amount of food as 80 people, or about 140 kilograms a day. And one of the things that we're talking about in terms of our initiative to raise money for Food Banks Canada is also to bring a spotlight to what you're doing in your own individual communities. And the Family Fun Committee, Mayor Colberge, must be involved in some, food drives as well in terms of all the various activities they do. In fact, you have a one-night food drive blitz.
Yeah, it's a incredible event actually, where the whole community comes together all at one night. We all hit the street at 6:00 and split up, and people just volunteer, and you go door to door and you collect money for the food bank. It started out with a 7-day or 5-day event, 5 nights for a couple hours each night. It just gives people you're not asking a lot, you're asking an hour and a half of their time. Feeding the food bank is a big priority.
Well, I wanted to make that connection. I mean, obviously, food
Yeah.
security is an important, serious issue, and I wanted to keep it light in terms of making the connection with imagining how much food T-Rex would need. So to bring that back to the T-Rex question for the trivia, of the more than 20 almost complete T-Rex skeletons ever found, the most perfectly intact was unearthed in 1990 in South Dakota, and its nickname is also in the name of what Johnny Cash song? I'm going to give you the multiple choice right away. Is it A Boy Named Sue?
No.
Run Around Sue? Wake Up Little Susie? Or Steggy Sue? That's a
Boy named Sue.
Must be.
So that's the only Johnny Cash song there.
Well, they're all Sues, but of course, yes, it's A Boy Named Sue.
Danny.
Saving the day again.
I know. And even knows his Johnny Cash trivia too.
Now, Mayor Crombie, you also have a very important food bank story to share.
I do. So we also do a campaign, Heather, just like you do. We have been very fortunate, very blessed in our community to have different cultural groups, religious groups step up, and we have raised over $2 million actually, because we had to do a separate food drive right during COVID, which raised $2 million, over $2 million.
Wow.
I mean, this is the cumulative total over the 6 years that we've been doing it. And I call them the one bag challenge because we try to make it virtual as well, because everyone's on social media. So I say, just pick up a bag of groceries. There it is. Pick up a bag of groceries, drop it off at your local grocery store, the food bank. That's where we are right there. Or at a local fire fire hall, take a picture of yourself doing so, and challenge 5 people to do it as well. So we call it the Mayor's One Bag Challenge. It's almost 3 million, 2.8, and
Wow.
also, and 1.5 million pounds of food. So it's wonderful.
Excellent.
Well, together we're all joining to support food banks in your local communities. Food Banks Canada, which is what we're doing to raise money to help this national charitable organization that's dedicated to helping Canadians living with food insecurity. And this question is inspired by that effort at this particular time of year. While it's uncertain how long they've been served at contemporary Thanksgiving meals, Indigenous people used what now familiar holiday meal item for cooking and dyeing.
Dyeing. It's not corn. Beets. Blackberry's a good one too.
Cranberries could be.
Could be
Cranberry.
cranberries.
It's the only thing I
Interesting.
can think of that's got a really,
Pigment.
strong color.
A lot of pigment.
to it.
Yeah, pigment. Well, if it's dye, it must be cranberries.
Cranberries.
I would think.
You know,
Not
Adam,
too
you're,
much
you're pretty
wash
light
either.
on the check mark button when we get stuff right, but you're heavy on the X button when we get it
Right?
wrong.
Well,
Like we've
come
got
on, we've
two
only
little
gotten
flashes
one
of a
wrong
check
so
mark
far.
there. You're stingy on the praise, Adam.
Well, I know that you want a little bit more screen time for the green check marks and a little less screen time for the X's. This is a chance to put a little more screen time on your community, Mayor Smith, because like food drives bring communities together. One of the things that you mentioned about Bracebridge was the community's response to the 2019 flood.
Yeah, we had a heck of a time in 2019, and in April, where we typically see some high water on our river and lake system, it was a historic event, and it was incredibly heartwarming that to know that everyone was there for their community and their neighbor when they needed it most. And typically in June of every year, we have a volunteer recognition evening, and I have a mayor's special award, which I don't give out every year, but when something kind of exceptional happens and there's no other means to really recognize people, I like to use that. And I actually gave the award that year and last year to the entire community because they had just stepped up so much. And I had about 5 or 6 examples of people, including a little girl that thought that people might need some sustenance as they were working so hard, and she was 7 years old, and her mom wrote me and asked if they could bake some muffins. And you get emails like that as you're going through a crisis, and it just makes you stop and shed a tear for a moment. So it was really the best of Bracebridge in the worst of times.
Well, that inspiring story leading to a question inspired by one of the most famous flood stories, this, of course, being related to Noah's Ark. What 2007 movie had more than 177 species of animals brought to set, at 175 million became the most expensive comedy movie ever made, and starred Steve Carell?
Danny? See, none of us watch movies. You only watch them on
You know, I can picture it kind of in my head.
Must
Heaven
be.
Almighty.
There it is.
Must be Heaven
There it
Almighty.
is.
Heaven
Yeah.
Almighty.
There you go.
Right.
How's this, Mayor Smith? Is this long enough for the green for you?
Yes, I'm liking it. I'm feeling like you're catching up now from when you.
You have to remember, Adam, we're mirrors. We don't get a lot of praise, so we like getting
No.
the check mark now and then.
We're far too used to seeing the X's.
We manage the complaint line. That's what we manage. Uh-huh.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
So while you did travel overseas, you probably didn't take an Ark, let alone the catamaran that Greta Thunberg of Sweden did. But Mayor Crombie, you did visit Sweden in months or years gone by, and it was a highlight for you.
Last year, right. So I had the opportunity to do a kind of an education mission. I've both to Japan and Sweden at different times to learn about sustainable communities and mixed use communities. We have beautiful waterfronts that we are reclaiming. We had an oil refinery on one place and 72 acres, and power generation plant on 250 acres. So we have the opportunity to reclaim brownfield and build mixed-use sustainable communities. So we looked at all the innovative options that Sweden, Japan are using, from district energy to vacuum waste. And in Sweden, we learned so much about innovation.
So in 2019, Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg became the first person born in the 21st century and the youngest person to be named what by Time magazine?
Person of the year.
Person of the year, I guess.
She got Nobel Peace Prize too, I think.
Well,
Perfect.
Time doesn't give that one away.
That's true.
Person of the year.
Person of the year.
Or they named her the student with most school absences. They could have done. They, of course, were right. Person of the year. Good job, mayors.
We end with the check mark.
Before you have to go, I know all of you mayors have to go, Mayor Breen, but I can weave in a story of yours if you have something in particular from St. John's that was meaningful that you want to put a bit of a quick spotlight on right now before you leave.
Well, 2020 has been a challenging year for St. John's, as it has for everybody around the world. For us, it was particularly challenging. We started the year with a major snowstorm that we've named Snowmageddon, which resulted in an 8-day state of emergency. So we had to open up the grocery stores on a Wednesday morning, I think it was. And one of the concerns was how are seniors and people that don't have transportation able to get to the grocery stores, because they'll only be open for a short time. So I got a phone call about 5:30 in the morning from the owner of a local taxi company. He said, you know what? I'm going to put all my taxis on the road for free today. And we're going to take people to the grocery stores. Next thing, the other taxi companies followed suit. What was interesting that night on the news, they interviewed a taxi driver in the parking lot of a grocery store, and they asked him, they said, why did you go out today? Like you're burning your gas. He said, when you're taking people around to get their groceries, why'd you do that? He looked at her and said, well, why wouldn't I?
Of course.
And that was the answer. And that, to me, summed up the whole experience. We're a resilient crowd here, and we made it through, but we made it through just like we get through the pandemic, looking out for each other and keeping each other safe.
Well, we've made it through this episode of the Bring Your A Game quiz show. All of you were fantastic. You were amazing working together and putting the spotlight on your various communities. But I will have to say that in this competition, in terms of strictly trivia questions and answers,
Danny,
Mayor Breen was the rock. Appropriately so.
All right.
Congratulations.
And all of you four
Thank you,
mayors
Danny.
have won your very own Bring Your A Game quiz show t-shirt.
right.
fantastic.
It's a lot of
Thank you
fun.
very much.
I've got to run off to the Jeopardy audition now.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Nice to see you all. Take care.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
This episode of the Bring Your A Game quiz show was sponsored by LifeSquad.com. When you want head lice gone, visit LifeSquad.com. And together we've been supporting Food Banks Canada, raising money through this national charitable organization to help Canadians living with food insecurity.
We are a people of passion in a land so wonderfully free, where we belong, where we'll grow strong. Shout out to our mayors, together we